Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about a different formation, the 4-2-3-1. Okay, so first looking at it, you might think, that's just a 4-3-3, and you could argue it is, okay? But I've decided to call it something different, 4-2-3-1. I like it, calling it this, because it has 4 layers. Sometimes with a 4-3-3, when I play it, especially at junior levels, they seem to get a bit flat and the distance between the lines is often great. By having 4, it's easier for them to get that right. So what have we got? So we've got 2 centre backs, a right wing back, a left wing back, and I've tried to go for a bit of football terminology this one, FIFA, CDMs. So we have this double pivot role here of these CDMs, 2 screens, if you like to call it that, 2 link players. Then we have a central attacking midfielder. And I was tempted to call these right wing and left wing, but I've gone for right attacking midfielder, left attacking midfielder. Just by telling someone they're a midfielder, I think the mentality is they're going to run more. You say you're a winger, they can be a little bit lazier. But you have both of these will have attacking and defensive roles, so they have to be very fit, very fast, and you're going to want to have rotations on these positions for sure. And then we have the centre forward. So another reason I like it is if you draw the pitch into quarters like I've done here, there's 2 players in every single channel. Obviously not looking here. So there's plenty of, no matter where the ball is, we've got plenty of support. So we should be able to form these lovely triangles of passing, and it should be nice. So yeah, like I said, lots of natural triangles like this, for example, and the players were quite close in proximity. Now, the reason I like this double pivot rather than one here is it allows you to play out of the back. Quite often we find ourselves against a high press, and if you haven't got a huge aerial in the locker, having a double pivot is really nice to be playing out the back. Okay, so get practicing your rondos, and it would be great. So these 2 players, they need to be great distributors. So a huge range of passing, maybe a good old slide pass, lots of disguise, be able to slap the ball hard over great distances. These wider left backs and right wing backs, big engines. Yeah, you're going to be going up and down a lot, okay, and coming in. Big engines, okay, really good work ethic there. These 2, strong on the ball, not taking it into contact, keeping it strong, not panicking on the ball, and just waiting and being patient to build up the play. You're also going to be running D to D, so you also have to be fit, but pretty much most hockey players do these days. This player, probably the most creative player on the pitch, okay, so think about who you're going to put there. Again, these need to be creative, but they're not in the middle, so they tend to have a little bit more room. Good, strong at dribbling. And then a centre forward, stay central, good goal scorer. Okay. These 2 as well, you're going to have to link up often. Okay, so you have to have a nice, good relationship, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the video goes on. So you might look at this and go, with these 2 players here and the 4 at the back, it's really defensive. But it's not, okay? This is what I want you to get in your mindset. So I said about the left wing back and the right wing back have to have engines. Because when we're attacking, I want you to promote. And look what it did to the attacking midfielders. It pushed them on as well. So we've gone from quite a defensive looking setup that when we have the ball, once we put it over a line or 2, we go into this formation. We're committing players forwards, okay? So we're only leaving 2 centre backs, but we've also got this cover in here, and we've got 6, 7, 8 players attacking the ball, attacking their half, which is really good. The same can be thought of with the defense. It's already pretty strong as it is, but by dropping those attacking midfielders on the wings, you can go into like a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2. You could even split these, okay? So huge options. Just have to have the mindset right about what you're going to do. So let's talk about outletting the ball. You'll notice here I've put the centre backs on the shoulders of the D. you're going to want to do that. You're going to split. And I've got them flat here. I should have had them more like this, okay? Just to remind yourself, you should never ever be flat, always be offset, just so you can help each other out and one ball doesn't cut too. So we're going to be looking at not having too much pressure on us at the moment, so we can look to build a transfer out. Obviously, if they've got a really high press, then you're just looking to use this formation, use this natural triangle setup to get the ball out. So here we go. Let's imagine the ball is in this area. There's 4 decent outcomes, just naturally decent triangles here. If I drew a line here, it'd be 2 triangles. That's one option. Or if we've got the ball, this guy might, or this girl, I should say, might think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to promote. And that's fine because we have the ability, let's say the ball is over here. I think the ball's going to appear in a minute. There it is. Okay. We have this same shape. And you saw the central attacking midfielder can also come in, and then we can look to transfer it and get it out of this area if it's nice and tight. We've also then got a high option, an in, 2 ins, a square, and a back. Okay. And obviously, if the ball's over here, we'd expect these players to come over, and be on the help side. And if we start the transfer, they can get in these positions again. Let's have a look from here. So another option, so if we're not going to take it into this channel and play here, of course we can play a direct ball to a lead or a posting up run from an attacking midfielder. So that's why I said they have to be good distributors, these centre backs. Just slap the ball over 1 line or to 2 lines to a leading run there. Okay. If that does happen, obviously the team has to react, and this is what I would expect. So let's just see that again. So the centre forward, you notice lots of people get the centre forward to run, but you could, but then someone else needs to be in here. You need someone in this scramble zone, this hot zone, right, high up at the pitch. So I'd expect this central attacking midfielder to make that lead more often than not. It could be the CDM as an in. This right attacking midfielder might come right over to the help side a little bit more, and we've got that centre forward in that high position looking to get that area separation, because if this is on, they can take the ball, we can crash it in here, no sweat. Obviously the left wing back, you can be thinking about helping, because what we could then do is look to move across, so we've still got that out, we've got the transfer on, and rather than hanging over on this side, we come over, join the help side, operate 1/2 or 2/3 of the pitch at once. Okay. Now, what other options have we got with outletting? So if we pass it to the left wing back, so how would we, we could stay in this situation, but if we stay here, if we're not leading, it's pretty easy for a good team, right? So what would I expect? What sort of leads would be useful? So between the two of you, one would go square or just beyond square, okay? Often the square is marked, so just come beyond square and then another in, okay? If you look at that, this person, if it's closely marked, just moving to here isn't much. So you might swap positions. So this person might lead higher, this person might lead back. A little bit of a more lead, more confusion, more chaos in the minds of the opposition. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so then we have all these nice options. If this person goes, this person could come in. Okay, something like that. Also important to remember to come over to the help side when needed. That might be a bit of an early promotion. You might tuck in a little bit more, and certainly when it goes, then you're off, okay? And you're off as well. So as soon as it goes high, we're promoting both of these players because we've got natural cover in this formation. I talked earlier about this relationship. So obviously, if the CDMs have moved into these positions, if the centre forward is leading in to get the ball, then obviously the central attacking midfielder, you would have to lead higher. Okay, so that's that relationship. That's how things can change. And doing it periodically is chaos, isn't it? It's messing with the other defenders. If you're going to do the same thing every time, they'll learn it. So think, and then again, swap these positions around. Happy days. And as soon as we go, we're promoting both the left and right wing positions, both of them. Let's have a look at pressing. So this formation just lends itself to a split press or a high press. Okay, so the centre forward, that lone player, let's create some real doubt in this player. Okay, let's see what they've got in the locker. So by putting yourself here, like really close, I'm talking about 5 meters, just really exploit that line. You're saying you're not passing it to this right back, you're going left, okay? Or you're coming in. Now, this is what's called a W press. If you can see my cursor here, it makes a little W shape where, you can see the players. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's the 3 and there's the 2 and there's a promoted one of the centre backs. It looks like these players are player marking. That's not my intention with this. You might be if they're standing next to you. But the important thing is this centre back here. So this is a communicator. This is talking to these players. So for example, is the ball to goal line covered well? No, it's down the reverse. I'll be like, so that's CAM. Oh, I didn't mean to do that yet. But so yeah, we'll talk about that and I'll come back to what I was saying. So if this player drifts, that's all right. It's a zonal press, okay? And that player is now actually standing on that ball to goal line. So here we go. This player, left 2, right? So if they move left 2, the forehand stick is now on the ball to goal line. Maybe he needs to go a little bit further. And this player is now in the shadow. So if a player stands in the shadow of another player, you can chill as a centre back. Don't worry about that. Just back your player to stop it. So when they leave the shadow, you might then start communicating, right 1, and just use their names, really clear. Maya, right 1, simple. Okay, so that has to be mostly from this player. Obviously the CDMs can talk to these players too, but the centre forward, you've got a pretty easy job. These guys are just player marking, or these girls player marking. You might be player marking as well, but you're just hovering in this space, looking at the gaps. You could even be right over here. You're just in here, just controlling this press. Now, they could lead, right? So that's a pretty good move, to be honest. So if they were to lead and the ball was to come in, obviously we've got these 2 players here that can put pressure. I'll be a bit reluctant for this player to put pressure because it can pop out and exploit us. So these 2 players can put the pressure on. But what's really important is the centre forward is now cutting this off again. This is not an option. So he can try and, or she can try and beat 2 players. Pretty brave. And remember, if you're doing this, you're just getting the head down, putting real pressure, forcing a pass. You don't have to be focused on the ball. You just need to be focused on trying to get a mistake, getting your feet facing forward and, staying in that battle. So what's probably going to happen here is this pass. And what I'd say is this player, you can let that happen. This is your man or this is your girl. This is who you are in charge of. Likewise here, these are your responsibility. The centre forward can be responsible for these 2 players here. So likelihood is it's going to freak out. She's going to panic because there's 2 players on her and it's going to go back. Okay, so it's ended up with this player here. If that was to happen, let's get our shape. These 2 players on the left-hand side would move over. This player would probably move over at this point because it's already headed over here. So it'd be a little bit more over, a little bit more spread like I had on the first clip. And we're moving in the direction of that ball. So we're not going towards it, we're just chilling out like a nice zonal press. The reason we're not going to go towards it is because we've got this high player here just causing havoc. Now, this player, what I should have had is you here now. Okay, you're not allowing the ball to come here. So we've forced it to this player. It has to come here, right? So how else can we end up in that player? So they could just pass straight away. So this will show it a bit more clearly. Centre forward's cutting that pass back to that other centre back, and we're moving across. Okay, so you can see the same zonal press. The centre back, you might be following a player. That player might not be with you, but you're again controlling it, looking at the gaps. So at this point, I might say, right, that central attacking midfielder, you need to go right. Then the right inner, you need to come in a little bit more, just make it a bit more compact. So they're the sort of calls that you want to be doing. Okay, so this player's like, crikey, I'm under a lot of pressure, can't go this way. They're not leading in here, let's chuck it over here. All right, so again, this is your responsibility. All right, that is your only real responsibility apart from pressing. Apart from holding your shape. Now we cut it again. You can't go back to that player. So let's put real pressure on this player. We're going to try and win the ball here. How are we going to do that? Letting it go down the line. So you're in, you're low, you're getting the head down. You're putting huge pressure. You're not focused on making a tackle. you're putting pressure on, so you're low, you're protecting your feet. If they do try and take you on, have your feet facing the way they want to go so you can recover. But ideally, you're allowing the pass down here. So what do we need to do now? We need to front mark. So it might be this player leading, it could be this player leading. You have to be in front. I don't care if you leave the player like to create a massive gap, because we're just going to back ourselves on our counter defense because we've put such good pressure on here. If we get it, we should have so many options moving forward. So yeah, this player, you're obviously going to move. We're all going to move onto this side. So look at the direction that ball made. If we just show you that again, that pass was in that direction. So these players are going to move in that same direction, just following the pass, plugging space, not player marking. You're plugging space. This player might have come in here a bit more. Okay, yeah, so like where my cursor is now, this player could have stepped a little bit right, or it doesn't really matter. You're just looking for the space, looking where they are, and front marking. That's the most important part. If someone is knee, you front mark them because we've done the hard job. Right, well, what else could you do? I quite like this press, right? This is it's harder for sure. There's plenty of videos on my channel about this press. I think we call it the box press. You're allowing the ball in, and then you're having two players press, okay? And then these were counter defense, so please watch that one. You could have this arrowhead, so the centre forward is responsible for these two. Like I said, this player is responsible, this player is responsible, and then you play a mark. What's good about that one is if they go to a 3, because they could go to a 3 like this, they're unlikely to go to 3 when you're doing the split press, because then that player's got a really, is really in trouble basically. So if this player was promoted, then you've got this extra centre back to play a mark as well, and you've just got the arrowhead covering the transfers. Okay, yeah, and that's it. So hopefully you like that video. Please leave any comments and I'll do my best to answer them, but give it a try if you like it.